Hello and welcome in 2021 in my ITSL game against Richard Owen from Australia. It's 11 p.m. here in my side. (9 a.m. on his side, and yes, there was some problem because I miscalculated the time zone difference and expected to play this game an hour earlier. Now what do we have here? A very good hand, yet with not too good candidate for a headline. Although I think this combined with containment makes it a super powerful hand. Good enough to fight for Europe without risking too much in Italy. So containment, if it's perched, oh well, otherwise I have 4-4-4-4-3 scoring. So only +5, but leaving me a 4 for the next turn and leaving me almost only 4s. Or allowing me to play fiddle for blockade. Asia scoring. So it's no longer of a concern for a while. Of course, Suez crisis and socialist governments are gonna hurt, but they are gonna be repairable by themselves. I'd like to be the last one to coup, since he didn't even get a presence. He rolled 4, sorry. Can't really complain for a roll. The problem is I will have to repair the effects of cards I play. Suez crisis and socialist governments. Not a big problem though. But I guess Suez crisis goes first, then 3 to France, 1 to Great Britain. Then East European unrest securing something. Fiddle for a coup, if he coups now. He doesn't. So Suez first to have some non-problematic France, or if he plays the goal, I am able to counter it somehow and still score European domination. This is the first game I'm playing in the new year. Oh, he failed a space race roll for NORAD. Some good news. Then so East European unrest, securing domination in Europe and securing domination in Middle East. 2 non-scored regions, and as DEFCON is at 4, France is a better choice than Thailand. One thing you should bear in mind, especially in the early war. If you purge your opponent or you play containment, you have to play aggressively, otherwise you're gonna waste the potential of the card. I sometimes like to hold containment and hope to play it later to space long gunman, But in this case, this hand was just too juicy. And of course I have to take care of Milops, preferably on my last action round, lowering Defcon to 3 by cooing Pakistan. But I bet he's not gonna allow me doing this. Okay, he secured Middle East for the price of Europe. So I think socialist governments may be invented with the usage of a spare op. Yeah, but where? Perhaps to France. It strongly depends on what he attacks with. He's triggering socialist governments event. Anyway, it's worth not being spaced and not being held. And even if he plays blockade and I discard fiddle and play NATO on my last action round, it's still not a wasted op because containment for fiddle pays for itself. No need to break South Korea because Asia has been scored. Middle East is the only region of a concern. And yes, taking Syria threatens Nasser. And then it may be tempting to coup Iran instead of Pakistan to avoid losing these victory points. Rain in blood. Mysterious nickname. I guess it comes from the name of the musical CD album of Slayer, I guess. The real name of my opponent is Richard Owen, and he's 1700 rated, so a decent opponent, and I have to take care of playing. I'm auto-playing this turn, almost, but let's say it clearly, I got a very superior hand. Because the 4 ops he may have are, among others, Marshall Plan and US-Japan, both of which he may be hesitant to play actually. Defcon is high and I'd like to lower it for some... Oh, he had the goal. I don't think Saudi Arabia is the best call, because Syria actually gives more and is cheaper. Of course with Nasser pending, but coups will always favor him. I think he might have been searching for a way to delay the goal. I only need these 2 to be repaired. But do I have a good option to place another 2? He may play duck and cover, denying me any coup. This is gonna cost him 1 and cost me 2. No good can be achieved by thinking like this. He may hold blockade, he may hold in the Pakistani war, but yes, I could ignore France and West Germany and just coup. He could have countered instead of playing blockade if he meant it. But this is not a really big deal. I have to coup. due to military operations. But first of all, I'd like to keep DEFCON at 3 at the end of the turn, bring it back to 4 when the next turn starts, to have a counter for his coup. Oh, Duck and Cover was played by me, by the way, yes. And more to the point, I don't want to base on a die roll if I don't have to, with such a good hand, which is good without any die roll. Okay, his coup succeeded, so I have to counter coup, and with Fidel I'm giving him access to mid-war battlegrounds, rendering him vulnerable to CIA, but my coup failed, unfortunately. So, this is it for the first turn, but the second turn doesn't look that good on my side, but I can still have 1+ comparing to him, although I'm probably losing Middle East entirely. The worst case scenario is him playing Nasser and coupping Lebanon high with, let's say, CIA and my very low counter coup. Oh, I have Nasser. Sorry. Maybe I should wake up. Good headline of his. Of him, I meant. But yeah, my hand is not really good. He may have both D cards. I probably have to hold blockade because I really don't want to give up NATO, and I really don't want to give up West German. Oh yes, he had it. So what do you have here? All the force which were left. Special version Korean. Okay, it was a very good moment to purge him. Plus, I'm very glad that he didn't show Middle East scoring. He's gonna have his military operations anyway. But he doesn't really have a very good coup targets, so let's assume his Panama coup is gonna fail. Yeah, I could coup, but I didn't have good targets. And fighting for this region of Asia with Vietnam revolts in my hand is certainly something I want to do. I probably should space something, not really sure whether it's gonna be Vietnam revolts or Arab-Israeli war. Yes, he failed coup in Panama, although one more would be a success. Now what? Korean War, Romanian abdication and 3/4. Marshall. US, Japan and nuclear test ban. And what's special relationship? He really doesn't want to play Marshall and US-Japan Pact. All other cards are sadly easily playable for him. I will have to play Nasser, hold blockade, Vietnam revolts the last action round. Okay, so Truman Doctrine. Probably I have no time to space. Ideally I would space Nasser, but it's too cheap. So 5-year plan, UN intervention, B cards, Middle East scoring. These are among these 8. What else? Comic-Con, I guess. Influence. Burma? What a waste. Come on, you're perched. You can't afford things like this. What can I afford? Nasser and Cambridge 5 would tell him that I don't have Middle East scoring. Arab-Israeli war would make him not tempted to coup. Sorry, not tempted to play Korean War for the event, which I want him to do. Vietnam revolts. Okay, let's play our most precious card. So 1, 2. Yeah, I could walk here and grab this. Still, I think this was a waste. Yeah, let's create multiple crises at once. Eventually, I'm ready to show him that I don't have Middle East scoring. If he coups now, all the Korean War thinking is pointless, and I may play Arab-Israeli war. If I lose a war at 1, oh well. Sorry, a war at 1/6. Oh well. Oh, this was much worse. I rolled a 1 for a second time in a row when it was very important. But the good news is he can't take Venezuela directly without eventing either Marshall Plan or US-Japan. Interesting. But France is more important, and even a 5 there is not a waste. So if he triggers Marshall Plan, okay, I won't control Canada. I'm going, and yes, now Korean War gives him, finally. Venezuela. It might have been a mistake from my side, because cooing 1 stabs is exactly what you want to do when you're perched. But now he's left with Korean War, Venezuela I guess now, Marshall Plan, and US-Japan, and the China Heart. And he doesn't really want to play either of them, except Korean War. I'll have to suffer Middle East, but hopefully it only costs me 3 victory points, because he doesn't dominate here. Now this is a dilemma for him. I think if I was in his shoes, I would trigger Marshall, because Europe can't get any worse, and put 1 into Venezuela, 1 in Syria, and 1 in Saudi Arabia to secure domination in the only non-scored region, which is guaranteed to be scored next turn, unless he gets it and I get 5-year plan and decide to play it in the headline and get very lucky. But he may also think of queuing Saran states, hoping for me not having a playable 3-ops card, and unfortunately I don't have a playable 3-ops card. We have 60 minutes per game. I think 5 in Italy is always an exaggeration. I mean 5-0, of course. He had an influence there. Double over control is somewhat justified, but triple over control is too much. Okay, over-controlling Venezuela is far too much when we are fighting here, and he still is perched. In this case, I'm gonna secure Thailand against China card takeover, because China card with Vietnam revolts active would take the Thailand over even under perch. Just to play Nasser as late as possible. To make him fight for the Middle East actively. Sorry, plus if I walk to Cameroon actively, I think it was a waste. It's really not such a big deal, even though I was rolling quite poorly. Okay, so Middle East is costly, but he didn't dominate it. I think this was an error to not take Syria and to not take Saudi Arabia. Now this is a dilemma. Perch him another time or play Middle East scoring. Let's calculate it. He has this D-call, so this is gonna be unaffected by Red Scar. Oh, I got defectors and he knows I have defectors. Blockade and Distal are gonna nullify each other, and Red Scar actually can be very useful for ops, because my hand is quite poor otherwise. It's only 14 here. So I think Middle East scoring, because it could only get worse, and now it's only costing me 3. Then Europe scoring, which is favoring me and he doesn't know it. Plus I can fight for Africa to make his decolonization easily parable by Red Scar Perch played for ops. Indo-Pakistani war secure me some. Oh my god, he played decolonization when I had defectors in hand. Whew. Very brave of him, and may pay off very well. Especially if he takes Thailand instead of queuing. And has Asia scoring. This may be very tough for me. But I'm very surprised that he risked it. Maybe he thought that I was going to play Middle East scoring, and maybe he thought I wasn't going to play defectors, knowing that he knew that I had them. Whatever it is, it was a brilliant play by my opponent. But I got perched twice. It doesn't really matter that I didn't use it. I got it. I got containment. He didn't get one of the D cards, so I really can't complain. Now Thailand or coup. Okay, he's couing Panama and he's failing with socialist governments. So now the most urgent thing is to secure Thailand and Algeria. Algeria is even less important because it's vulnerable to realignments. Okay, he can coup Sahran states, but he doesn't want to give me MILOPs, and he doesn't know I have Indo-Pakistani war because it comes from the reshuffle. And I have to play blockade for one op, so it would be ideal to coup something, but I think it was a better call. He's still holding the China card and he got rid of the CIA. He has 5-year plan, I guess. Let's make sure. Yeah. Oh, and UN intervention. So he's most likely playing the entire hand and maybe the China card even. So I'm glad he didn't draw Europe scoring. Actually, he can't really mess up with Europe. The goal is very easily reparable. Influence. Going for Korea. He may have Asia scoring okay. Let's cash in Europe, it can't get better. Excuse me. And what else? I think I can break Burma to attack India and Pakistan with his UN intervention and US-Japan pact. He's just gonna show it up. And dominate Asia. 6 versus 4. So show me if you have the scoring first. Because in the Pakistani war, okay, it's my source of MILOPs. But for securing Asia, it's gonna be used only if nothing else helps. He just got rid of US-Japan Mutual Defense Pact, so I may perhaps go directly to Japan. With Red Scare, if he takes Afghanistan. Placing the third point, Mexico or Panama or Turkey, to be able to grab 2 from Turkey for Cuban Missile Crisis, for example. Although it's pointless. Oh, another space for NORAD. This time succeeded. Fighting for Europe is pointless. Mexico will eventually have its time, so let's threaten to grab Chile. With blockade and distal, because he must have known these cards in my hand, and these two are unknown for him. because they come from the reshuffle. This is also something you should take into account if you are able to, but not the most important factor. I will play Indo-Pakistani War first, not because I want to know its result, because it's pointless for Asia scoring, but because I want to have a flexible 4 for my last action round. I can't complain my luck in cards, but I really can complain my luck in Colombia coups, because this was very important. However, I could decide to not allow this luck to happen. But the remaining scorings are mid-war regions, Asia, Southeast Asia, and they all look reasonable. Plus, I'm leading on VPs. Olympic Games, okay, I didn't know this was coming. Failed, a 1. I couldn't expect any better, it was a Milov's saver. Excuse me. So, priorities. Central America and Africa, maybe? Yeah. 2 Mexico and 2 South Africa. Or maybe 1 Panama, 2 South Africa and 1 somewhere else. The China card. Oh. Okay. Very directly. You know what? I can break it and threaten to do the same with the China card and ask you about some coups. This is more important than South Africa, because if he coups me here, he still isn't dominating me. Africa, brush or grain sales. I'm thinking about grain sales. It can't backfire on me, so I'm gonna play it. I don't have to coup with this. What I mean, if I coup with this, he will have his time to secure North Korea. Cultural Revolution. Ooh, I don't like this one. Southeast Asia scoring. Okay. I'd like you to have this one in hand. In the meantime, I'm gonna secure my position in Angola, and that was a great roll. I think if he takes Korea, I'm gonna give up this one and concentrate myself on first puppets, 2 South American battlegrounds, and the third target is unclear. Maybe Haiti? Southeast Asia is worth 4 for me. Going Cameroon, failing. He's gonna probably coup Haiti now. So if he does, realigning, securing Argentina is a good move. And South Africa, of course. Or securing Argentina with Truman Doctrine. Because it's always better to play things like South Africa in a single play, not showing him that I have the scoring. What about brush or attack Zaire directly, or put it into Zaire, or realign Zaire, which costs me another action round to get there? It was a joke. Putting directly in Zaire is pointless, it's better to attack Venezuela. Okay, that was weird, but nicely played actually. You know what? I'm thinking about attacking Vietnam with brush war, securing Asia. If I roll a 3 or more, it gives me 1 VP from brush war, it gives me 2 extra from Southeast Asia, and it secures Asia. Hell yeah! And succeeded. Okay. What are you going to do with this one, my friend? Yeah, I know, Chile and the whole South America is vulnerable, but Africa is gonna pay for itself, I guess. I don't have playable 3s, so... So I think I should take some care of this region, because controlling it by him is too painful if he succeeds. And I have to eventually score Africa, so I guess I won't be realigning Zaire because I can do it only once. Okay, here comes the ones. It's a 2 VP swing, worth trying. Failed. I hope he doesn't have Che, because otherwise Africa, Southeast Asia, and hey, VP track suddenly looks very good. It's 5 and it's a 6, and he can hardly do anything about it, and he still lacks 1 millop. Quagmire for space race, and Cambridge 5 last action round, securing Chile, perhaps with overprotection. To make it untakeable by a4 after Allende. Because, okay, does he have 5-year plan? He has 5-year plan, but he had played the China card, so he can't play it. Okay, it doesn't change Africa scoring, but may do it soon. No more millops. Victory. He played the China card, and his hand size wasn't reduced, so 5-year plan to discard Asia, Southeast Asia scoring can't be played with no downside risk of immediately losing the game. And non-scored regions would be Asia and both Americas. They look so good enough for the USSR to avoid this risk, I guess. Influence. over control. Come on, I don't think you can really afford this. Unless you are going to play this 5-year plan now and be super lucky. Okay, this is the kind of play, but you just have to be very desperate to think about it. What? I think I just won this game. Well, thank you for watching and see you next time then. Yeah, Ziemowit taught me to play such moves the best possible manner, so this is a battleground still to be controlled. Whew. A very important victory, I guess.